Norconians, we're excited to be here. How's everybody doing tonight? Oh, one more time. I want you to hear you in Corona. All right. I know. Did you enjoy the refreshments that we had for you tonight? All right, excellent. Let's give a big round of applause to Villa Amalfi Restaurant at the Hidden Valley Golf Club and Waste Management for those delicious refreshments. I'd also like to give a big round of applause to our event sponsor, the Western Riverside Council of Governments. Give them a big round of applause. Now, I know everybody has a cell phone on them, so get your cell phone out, hold it up in the air. Get your cell phone out, hold it up in the air. Come on, get it out. Hit the vibrate button or turn it off. All right, we don't have any ringing going on. No Facebook alerts going on. All right, we want to keep this event as quiet as possible so that you're not distracted. So take care of their phones. My name's Kevin Button. I will be your host for the 2017 State of the City Address. Some of you already know me as I'm a teacher at Norco High School and taught some of your children, but for those of you who don't know me, it's a pleasure to meet you tonight. The State of the City Address is a very important event. It's one of those events that allows community members to come out and interact with their local government. It's important to understand the policy procedures that are going on, understand the decisions that are made at a local government level. I, as a teacher, continually remind my students that they need to interact with their community and they interact with their government to ensure that our way of life continues to grow strong. So thank you for coming out tonight, and thank you for interacting with your Norco government. So we have a full agenda planned for you tonight, so let's go ahead and get things started right away. We'll start with the presentation of colors from the Norco High School Air Force Junior ROTC. Please rise. Please place your hand over your heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll now have the invocation by Pastor Michelle Ehrenberg.
Does that give you goosebumps? Isn't that wonderful? The next generation of leaders right there. Amazing. In Scripture, in the book of Daniel, it says, He, God, changes times and seasons, and He deposes kings and raises up others. He gives wisdom to the wise and knowledge to the discerning. In Romans, it says this, and this is directed to all of us. Let everyone be subject to the governing authorities, for there is no authority except that which God has established. I am here to celebrate what God has established in this town. The authorities that exist have been established by God. Would you pray with me? Gracious Lord, thank you for Norco, for this unique, wonderful city of Norco, for the small town spirit preserved in the midst of this busy society we live in. Thank you, Lord, for the rich heritage that is celebrated here, for the sense of community, and Lord, for each group that is represented here this evening. Thank you for the wisdom and the experience that you have assembled in this room tonight. We thank you, Lord, for opportunities for all to get more involved. We ask for your blessings, O Lord. Would you bless each one who gives so selflessly? For we know that it is indeed a blessing to give and to serve with a cheerful heart. We ask for your guidance and direction for our officials as they lead us in overcoming challenges and discovering opportunities. Bless Mayor Newton tonight with your peace as he delivers the State of the City address. And would you cause us, Lord, to receive his words with graciousness and kind support. Lord, I thank you for the Riverside County Sheriffs and CAL FIRE and all those who protect this precious city. Bless them with a fortress of protection and keep them safe and well. Heavenly Father, bless our City Council and all of our officials who dedicate themselves to serve and to lead with integrity and with a deep sense of pride in this city. God bless Norco, Horsetown, USA, and may God bless America. In your most holy name we pray. Amen.
We're going to have the Norco College Choir sing the national anthem. Wow, wasn't that a great way to start our event? It's always energizing to have local schools involved in community affairs. Let's take a moment and thank the Norco High School Airport JROTC and for presenting our colors, and the Norco College for Now, I don't live in Norco, but I've taught here for 17 years at Norco High School. And I've gained a great insight into this unique community, primarily through the eyes of our students, who have had the great honor to teach. Through those young men and women of yours, I have come to know the close-knit family-oriented community of Norco, as well as the exceptional community organizations we are celebrating here tonight. I've had the chance to listen to my students over those 17 years, and I've heard stories of all their opportunities they've had while they've grown up here in the city of Norco. One of my students, Vivian, explained to me how excited she was to be a part of the traditional Western events held here in the city, from the Norco Fair, Horse Week, and Day of the Cowboy. Another student, Sierra, tells me how inviting you as Norconians are to all of the visitors that come to town, as well as how excited she is to ride her horse over the 100 miles of trails you have here in the city. And Aaron explained how patriotic he feels while driving down 6th Street with the red, white, and blue striping and attending the events at the Ingalls Veterans Memorial Plaza. As I was driving up here, the red, white, and blue stripes aren't there, but I'm sure they're coming back. There are a lot of great things happening in the city of Norco, and I'm honored to be here in Horsetown, USA tonight, experiencing this event with you. So, we've gone through our community leaders, we've gone through our community organizations, but tonight would not be possible without you, the public, being here tonight. We wanted to take a big thank you and for making time in your busy schedules to come out to the State of the City address and participating in this event. You should be very proud of the community where you live. So give yourself a big hand of applause for showing up. Okay, it's now time for tonight's keynote speaker, who I've had the privilege of knowing for more than 5 years through local community organizations and parent meetings at Norco High School. I've always respected Gray's dedication, his honesty, and his straightforwardness. You always know where he stands. So without further ado, please join me in welcoming Mayor Gray Newton.
Well, good evening, everyone. Thank you, Kevin, once again. It's an honor and a privilege to be here tonight. It's very gratifying to see many people in the audience. I may be the keynote speaker, but we're really here to honor all the nonprofit organizations. So many are so active in Norco. Every one of them making our community a better place to live, work, or go to school. These dedicated people, and all of you who care so much about Norco, make our city such a special place. Tonight, I invite you to join me in celebrating the ability of Norco to face any kind of challenge and discovering opportunities in the process. First, I would like to reintroduce a few people I work with on a regular basis, not just every other Wednesday, but all week long. If you'd please, Mayor Pro Tem Ted Hoffman. Councilmember Berwin Hanna. And Councilmember Kevin Bash. Councilmember Robin Grunmeyer, she's unfortunately out of town tonight, but she did send all her good wishes and thoughts. Being an effective council member is a 24-hour job, and we're constantly taking the pulse of the community, hearing feedback, solving problems, and creating opportunities for residents and business owners so that they can thrive and enjoy a better quality of life. Occasionally we disagree, sometimes more than just a little bit, but we respect each other because we all serve on the city council for the same reason. We care about Norco, and we want to make it a better place to live. This is a city council that I'm proud to be a part of. This is my first opportunity to serve you as your mayor, and I'm honored to deliver the State of the City address. I'm going to start by speaking about a few things that bring us together. We're here tonight because we all chose Norco as a place to settle, raise a family, start a business, or just enjoy life. Maybe it's the safety that attracted us, maybe the good schools for our children, or maybe it is just because this city just feels different than any other place in Southern California. I found Norco after I moved to California from Tulsa, Oklahoma. I was looking for a place to board my horse and ended up at a bar stables, now part of the Silver Lakes property. The first time I drove into town, I immediately fell at home. And I swear, I saw the sign for the park and ride, and I thought this was a place where you pulled in your truck and trailer and you rode your horse. My wife, daughter, and I have now lived in Norco for 23 years. During my time as a board member of the Lake Norconian Club Foundation, I learned that the lifestyle of the original Norconians was not too different from today's Norconians. Norco was laid out in half-acre lots because its founder had a vision, quality of life, built around a self-sufficient economy, knowing that large lots make people feel that they can control their own destiny. Those early townspeople were looking for a fresh start when they settled here, just like a lot of us, in a place that they could put down some roots. Some raised animals or grew crops that were sold in town. Others built furniture. Others were metal workers. These early home buyers felt that they had found the promised land, and that attitude still exists today amongst Norconians. There are only a handful of communities in Southern California that guarantee large lots, and this characteristic has become part of Norco's DNA. We all came to Norco for different reasons. As for my colleagues on the council, Robin, Ted, Kevin, grew up in the area, while Berwin is from Texas, but discovered that Norco was just the right medicine for him. I'd like all of you to just think for a moment about why you came to Norco and why you have stayed. Although we may have come for different reasons, We have all stayed for the very same reason. We care about Norco. And when we're faced with challenges, we need to remember the opportunities we enjoy just by living here. Let's review the state of the city, focusing on some issues that define Norco's current quality of life. There are many great schools in the Corona-Norco Unified School District, and Norco schools are well known for their award-winning programs and teachers. I've witnessed this firsthand, not just because my daughter attended local schools, but by also sitting on city council with Robin Grunmeyer, who is an incredibly dedicated teacher. Local parents are not content sitting on the sidelines, but are constantly volunteering with school programs and exceeding fundraising goals, and many of these parents are here tonight. Speaking of sidelines and goals, Norco coaches are amongst the best in the state, and there are trophy cases all over town that prove Norco is a community of champions. A new trophy was just added, with our girls softball team winning the Tournament of Champions and now ranked #1 in the country. In fact, not only is Norco Horsetown USA, it is also Sportstown USA. Just as excellent schools are essential to a good quality of life, so is a sense of security. Law enforcement has never been an easy career, and across America there are dedicated men and women putting themselves in harm's way. I want to acknowledge them and also thank the Riverside County Sheriff's Department, which greatly contributes to our own quality of life. This department provides all the resources of a world-class law enforcement organization with state-of-the-art equipment, facilities, and expertise. But it also gives us a personalized, community-based attention where caring deputies still know residents by name, some a little more than others. I want to thank the leadership of Sheriff Stan Sniff, Captain Dan Hedge, Dan, wherever you are, thank you, Lieutenant Eric Riddick, and the Riverside County Sheriff's Department for being such a great friend to the city of Norco, your very first contact. We appreciate the service of your department's exceptional men and women. One of the best decisions we ever made as a city was to contract our fire protection and emergency medical services to CAL FIRE, another world-class organization. I was serving on the city council at that time and fully understood the challenges we faced back then. Some of our Norco firefighters were friends and neighbors, but we understood the opportunities, both financial and service-related, that presented themselves by contracting with CAL FIRE. It not only made financial sense, but now we benefit from the resources of an organization with a $1.9 billion budget. I want to thank the leadership of Fire Chief John Hawkins, Deputy Fire Chief Greg Everhart, Division Chief Silvio Lanzas, Battalion Chief Rich Owens, absolutely #1 in my book, Battalion Chief Scott Lane. With CAL FIRE, we enjoy a rapid response time from multiple stations, and if we ever have a major fire or disaster, we will get the resources that we need, manpower, air power, you name it. The city faced some tough economic challenges when we were funding our own fire department. But those challenges led us to discover a new opportunity with CAL FIRE. Confidence in public safety is a big contributor to a high quality of life, and so are great recreational opportunities. Norco has a network of 14 parks and open space totaling more than 900 acres, as well as approximately 100 miles of horse trails and facilities serving youth, seniors, and animals. Among them are the Rose Eldridge Senior Center that provides so much joy to our seniors, an animal shelter that's the finest you'll find in a city of our size, and the George Engels Equestrian Events Center That's one of America's greatest equestrian facilities. The adjoining George A. Ingalls Veterans Memorial Plaza is a testament to Norco's patriotism, perseverance, and the desire to honor the veterans who have sacrificed for our nation. I want to thank my colleagues Ted Hoffman and Kevin Bash for serving on the Veterans Memorial Executive Committee, helping us to make a truly magnificent memorial a reality. The Memorial Plaza is also an example of the generous spirit of the community, with nearly $2 million in labor and materials donated in the name of our veterans. As you can see, we have a variety of resources and amenities that make the state of the city very healthy. But what about Norco's people? Part of overcoming challenges and capitalizing on opportunities that present themselves depend on an engaged public. When people are involved in their community, things get done. It's one thing to have a great animal shelter, for instance, but when you have dozens of volunteers to staff it and groups like NART to rescue injured animals, you've got much more than just a great facility. This gathering tonight is an example of an engaged public. First, we have representatives from our nonprofit organizations, people who are committed every day to making Norco a better place to live, whether it's helping seniors and pets, providing after-school programs for children, celebrating equestrian achievements, or hosting community events. There is not a single aspect of life in Norco that is not touched by our amazing network of community organizations. These kinds of people and organizations represent the difference between just another place on a map and a living, breathing community. We are lucky to be able to call Horsetown, USA home. Being engaged is also about showing up to public meetings and getting educated on the issues. Some take it a step further and participate on local commissions or advisory boards. There's not a town in America worth living in where residents don't care about what's going on. In all the places you've ever wanted to call home, there's a culture of people staying involved. Exceptional communities just don't happen. People create communities through hours of dedication and hard work. Norco benefits from people who recognize a problem and take time out of their busy lives to fix it, whether it's repairing a trail fence or rescuing stranded animals. Maybe that's why we have literally hundreds of city volunteers honored every May at the Volunteer Appreciation Dinner. We are lucky these tireless people have chosen Horsetown, USA to call home. Let's talk a little about the lifestyle that we share. The lifestyle that defines Horsetown, USA. We are known as Horsetown, USA, and that has much to do with good land use planning as anything. Large lots make us an animal keeping community, and that very spirit comes through in events like Horse Week, the Norco Fair, and the Day of the Cowboy, an event my colleague Erwin Hanna and the Parks and Recreation staff have built into one of the greatest events of the year. We made a choice from the very beginning to be an animal keeping community. As the years progressed, we could have been satisfied with being a more typical bedroom community. We could have said yes to every developer of apartment buildings or truck depots that came to town, and believe me, they keep knocking on the door. But we stood and continue to stand our ground. In fact, we would be generating much more property tax revenue if we were a more conventional city. We could have sidewalks instead of horse trails, but then we wouldn't be Horsetown, USA. It's not who we are. We've been stubborn, even when it has not been to our best economic interest, but in the process, we've preserved a lifestyle that becomes more rare every day. Good planning often goes unnoticed, but as a former planning commissioner, I can tell you it takes a lot of work to maintain our low-density lifestyle. There are enormous pressures from the development community to compromise our lifestyle, and there are additional pressures of complying with state zoning and affordable housing regulations. Preserving our lifestyle is always a challenge, but with that comes opportunities. Not only to make this a better place to raise our families, but opportunities to promote our city as a commerce destination as well as a travel destination. Through our economic development policies, the city is aggressively pursuing these goals, and people who visit Horsetown, USA quickly discover they have arrived at one of California's most unique destinations. Attracting new revenue-generating businesses is a priority for our city because so much of our success hinges on economics. So let's talk about finances. Your family's decisions at the kitchen table are often based on finances, and so are many decisions at City Hall. Every lifestyle comes at a cost. And in Norco, we're constantly struggling to balance quality of life and economics. It's a constant challenge. Who we are presents a challenge, but it also opens up new opportunities. There are challenges associated with maintaining a large lot city. For one, national chain businesses may overlook Norco, thinking there aren't enough rooftops to support their restaurants or stores. Sometimes they search further up or down the freeway, where the houses are much closer together and the cities have larger populations. It's also more costly to maintain infrastructure in a low-density community because there are fewer taxpayers to shoulder the burden. But in the face of those challenges, once again, there are great opportunities. For one thing, it presents an opportunity to create a unique environment in which to live and control our destiny. It also provides an opportunity to attract visitors because Norco is so unique. In the Reagan years, the term "fend for yourself" federalism became popular as financial responsibility was shifted from Washington to the states. Fend for yourself localism is the same concept, but focuses more on cities and counties, while money from Sacramento and Washington gets tighter. Fewer financial resources creates challenges, but it also presents the opportunity to become more resourceful and creative at the local level. In Norco, because we have a tradition of saying no to high-density housing and massive warehouses, we have been forced to explore new ways of saving or generating income. I've always believed in negotiating from a position of strength and bringing business sense to government. I've already mentioned the financially smart decision to contract out with CAL FIRE. Negotiating tough deals with developers has brought more revenue to the city, and aggressively marketing available development sites to major retailers has resulted in increased sales tax revenue. When we are successful in generating revenue, it becomes necessary to manage, invest, and spend our money wisely. It also requires a commitment to innovation to keep our finances healthy in the future. The City of Norco is implementing new technologies, making life easier for the residents. For instance, the new Norco mobile app helps streamline the reporting and fixing of all kinds of problems. Now, if you see a broken trail fence, graffiti, or a pothole, you can take a photo of it with your smartphone and submit it to the city, where it gets routed to the responsible staff member. You'll even be updated on the progress being made to correct that. Keeping up with technology is always a challenge, especially in government where resources are tighter. But technology represents one of the greatest opportunities we have to connect with the residents. Technology will make us smarter, quicker, and more efficient, and ultimately save us money. Norco, like other well-managed cities and corporations, is embracing technology. Let's face it, if you're not looking 20 years down the road, you're already behind the times. Technology, however, creates its challenges, which we must honestly address. It's easy to complain about social media, but this is the world we live in. And the sooner we learn to master it, that means getting our message out effectively, the better off we'll be. If you look at the city's new website, the Norco mobile app, our Twitter account, or our Facebook page, you can see how many great things are happening in the city. Dealing with digital detractors can be a challenge, but using social media to our advantage is an opportunity. Cities are not for-profit businesses, but being efficient and cutting costs is critically important. At this time, the state of the city's finances are sound, and the budgeting decisions in Norco are made through a very public process that is transparent, with residents being able to see where every dollar is allocated. That transparency, which extends to developing and implementing the 2016 strategic plan, streaming videos of city council meetings, and sending news, updates, and weekly newsletters to the residents is important to earning the public's trust. We have substantially improved our general fund reserve over the past 5 years. It currently has a balance of more than $10 million, which is quite an achievement for a small community like ours. Good budgeting means capitalizing on good times and being prepared for bad times, and the City Council has been very smart about that. But those reserve funds, which are a cushion against rising costs and economic downturns, are not the permanent solution to our infrastructure and improved public safety funding needs. It is important to plan ahead in a strategic manner. Paying for infrastructure, horse trails, streets, water, sewer, parks, and facilities is and will continue to be a challenge for Norco, just like in most cities in the nation. It's even a greater challenge for us because we have a smaller population to support these improvements. But there is opportunity to be discovered on the other side of that challenge. We look forward to engaging our residents over the next several months to help us in determining the best way to meet this challenge. But tonight, I urge everyone to be united in our commitment to do something. We enjoy a quality of life most Americans would envy, but it comes at a price, and sooner or later, we will need to pay for our lifestyle, or it is likely to disappear. Whatever policies, decisions we ultimately choose to implement, I believe there should be a 4-point program, 4 legs supporting the table, so to speak, for whether it's suitable for Norco. First, it's got to be sensible, understandable, and easy to communicate. Second, it has to be a policy that does not conflict with our community values. Third, it has to recognize the importance of consistently planning ahead. And fourth, and most importantly, it has to have the support of the residents. Let's talk a little more about what makes Norco different from other cities in Riverside County, California, and the nation. We should be proud of what we have built, and we should be proud of the state of our city tonight. There is certainly nothing wrong with being a more typical bedroom community with a higher density subdivision. That is a lifestyle that most Americans aspire to, and we greatly respect those communities. The issues facing Norco are sometimes different from those facing Eastvale, Corona, Yoruba Valley, or Riverside, but we all share many concerns, including those relating to infrastructure. We also take pride in working with these communities on regional projects that affect us all. And to the leaders of our neighboring cities and representatives from regional boards, I thank you for being here tonight. But Norco is unique, and our challenge is to retain that uniqueness for our children and our grandchildren. The greatest legacy we can leave them is the opportunity to grow up in a place like this. A place that still has some of the same qualities its founders envisioned in the 1920s, almost 100 years ago. Despite our occasional disagreements, we Norconians have so much to be thankful for. Our large lots, our horse trails, and an animal-keeping lifestyle you can't find anywhere else. We also live in a city whose community spirit is embodied by the nonprofit organizations present here tonight. Every person in this room, service club members, equestrians, teachers, coaches, business people, church leaders, and interested residents really care about Norco. Before I conclude, I want to thank our city staff of just over 50 full-time employees, half the number it was just a decade ago, and more productive than ever. Most of the opportunities we discussed tonight are realized through their hard work. I'd like to recognize our department heads. One of the longest titles I've ever read, Deputy City Manager and Parks and Recreation and Community Services Director Brian Petrie. Finance Officer Gina Chicard. City Clerk Cheryl Link. Public Works Director Chad Blaze. Planning Director Steve King. Economic Development Consultant Roger Brody. And most importantly, Andy Orcoro, our City Manager, who gives our City Council the resources and the guidance. So what exactly is the state of our city as we wrap up tonight? I believe we are a community of generous, giving people, and that Norco is an innovative, resourceful city with sound financial footing, well positioned to overcome future challenges. We are forward-thinking, recognizing that our past is the secret to our success and to a prosperous future. From this point forward, anytime you are faced with a challenge or a frustration, whether it's with a neighbor, business, or the city itself, I urge you to remember why you came to Norco in the first place and why you stayed. When we are faced with challenges, we need to remember the opportunities we enjoy just by living here. This reminder can be a very helpful guidepost in meeting those challenges ahead, and more importantly, turning those challenges into tremendous opportunities. I want to thank you for the opportunity to deliver the State of the City address as your mayor. To you and your families, I wish you a year filled with special opportunities. Thank you.
Let's give the mayor another round of applause. Well, I hope you're as inspired as me by that speech. It makes me want to move to Norco as soon as possible. Are there any real estate agents in the audience tonight? Right here? You and I, we need to talk later, okay? Meet me after the event, all right? I'm really inspired to buy one of these animal-owned properties here in Norco. It sounds like a great place to live. Clearly, you're all part of an incredible American community and should be proud of what you've built in Norco. Let's give another round of applause to Mayor Greg Newton and the city staff. All right, well, that concludes our event tonight. I want to thank you again for attending the 2017 State of the City event, and I wish you a good night, Norco!